Hello dear students, welcome back to a YouTube class. So in the previous sessions we started to study about your computer languages, where we know that there are totally two types of the language. We have low level language and high level language. Low level language is divided into machine language and assembly level language, and your high level language are the normal languages, where for what purpose we are using. Based on that, we again classify these high level languages into two groups: general purpose and special purpose. So we had studied in detail, means the two languages we had covered, that is your machine level language and assembly language from your low level language. So now I'll just do the revision of these two, then we'll move further. Okay, so your low level language has been divided into mainly two languages. The first one is machine level language and the second one is your assembly language. Some of the features of your machine level language is, this machine language is also called as your fundamental language of your computer. Means the computer understands directly only the instructions which are given in your machine level language. The other instructions which are given through your assembly level language or from your high level language, those has to be translated again into machine level language. But the instructions what you give using your machine level language will be directly executed, directly given by your, directly understandable by your computers, and output is given. No need to transfer here of the instructions of your machine level language. So what all things you add in your machine level language? The content what we add in your machine level language is everything in the format of your binary numbers, that is only zeros and one. So the content which is stored is all in the format of zeros and one, but it is stored when it has to be executed and transferred, that is in your electrical fluctuation, means the high voltage and the low voltage, where 0 and 1 is again represented in the format of your electrical fluctuation. The program which you write using your machine level language, that is called as machine code. We call it as machine code. The instructions provided in your machine level language are directly understandable by your computer, and the converted into your electrical signals to execute your program, to run your program. That all we see when we were studying about your machine level language. Some of the examples, I had given you the instructions which we write in your machine level language. There will be two parts in your instructions, machine level language. First part is called as opcode and the second part is called as operand, where opcode is nothing but operation code. It contains 4 bits, and your operand is nothing but the address or the location, and it contains 8 bits. Okay, so what all the code you want to write, what all the program you want to write using your machine language, you must and should know everything with the combination of your zeros and one, that is the binary numbers. If you know all the 0 and 1 combinations for each instructions, for each operation, for each address, then you can write or you can instruct easily everything in the format of your machine level language. So the features, we have some advantages and disadvantages of your machine level language. The advantages here are the content or the instruction which are given in your machine level language directly executed. No need to combine or no need to translate. So that is the big advantage what we have relating to your machine level language. With this advantages, we have some disadvantages also. The instruction what we are writing in your machine code all are machine dependent. We cannot change that code from one, we cannot use the same code from one computer system to another computer system. So that what we call it as machine dependent. Next, it is very difficult to program, as we need to remember everything in the format of 0 and 1 binary number combinations. So it makes very difficult to remember in that combination. The another disadvantage is, if you want to modify the code, you must and should know where you have to modify, in which line, in which compound, in which statement you want to do it. That all should be known. And the last one is debug error. Debug means finding the mistakes. Here errors are nothing but the mistakes what you do in your code. Mistakes what you do in your code, those are called as errors. So if you've done any mistakes in your program, to find that and to rectify that error, the process is called as debugging. Debugging is nothing but finding the errors and giving the correct solution for those errors is called as your debugging. So this process is very difficult in your machine language because we must and should know each bit. One bit after the another bit we have to go on searching, and then we have to find where we did the mistake and all. That was the disadvantages of your machine level language. To overcome with these all the disadvantages, rather than using machine level language, we started to study or using the next level language, that is called as assembly level language. So here the assembly level language is also a part of your low level language. Rather than using everything in the binary numbers, that is 0 and 1 combination, we started to use some letters, words and the symbols in your assembly level language, so that we can remember some extent of the code and easy to write the program. These letters, words or the symbols would we use in your assembly level language, those are called as mnemonics. Those are called as mnemonics. So rather than using the binary digits, we use these mnemonics in your assembly level language. The code or the program would be write using your assembly level language, that is called as assembly code. That is called as assembly code. The examples I had given you. Here one extra thing you have to use. We know that machine understand, our computer system understand only machine level language, the instruction written in your machine code. But now what you are writing the codes, all are in your assembly code, but it won't be understandable by your machine. So what you have to do is, we have to use one translator. The translator which is used to convert the instructions from your assembly level language to your machine level language, that translator is called as assembler. That translator is called as assembler. So assembler will help you to translate the program from assembly code to your machine code. With these features, we have some advantages and disadvantages relating to your assembly level language. So the advantage is the mnemonics code is easy to remember. It is not much difficult as you feel for your remembering the binary number combinations of your machine code. Easy to understand, easily we can understand what we are doing, what process is going on. If you want to do any modification, that is also possible. Easily we can do all the modification, and if you did any mistakes, if error occurs, then we can rectify those errors easily. No need not to be get struggled as we get for your machine course. So these are all the advantages we have in your assembly language. The disadvantage of this assembly level language is the mnemonics what we are using in this language all are machine dependent. Again the same problem, again the same disadvantage. The code what we write here in your machine code is also machine dependent, and your assembly code is also machine dependent. And the programming using your assembly level language takes very long time. It requires more time to write the program or to do the coding. So these two disadvantages again we had, where it is not possible to create a perfect code or the program. So what we did is, rather than using these all the languages, we started to use high level language. That is the second language we have of your programming, high level language. High level language. So the language designed to make programming easier through the use of familiar English like words and the symbols. What happens in your machine code, everything is in the format of binary numbers 0 and 1. What all you want to instruct, everything should be instructed using your 0 and 1. It is easy to understand, means a programmer can write the code, a programmer can instruct the computer, everything is possible, but the common people cannot use your machine code. They cannot remember everything in the format of binary numbers. So that was the disadvantage regarding to a machine code. Next, coming to the assembly, we started to use the mnemonics, but mnemonics is also machine dependent and it takes too much time to code into your assembly code. So to overcome with these all the disadvantages, what we did is simply we started to write the programs using your English like words, where the English is a word acceptable language where everyone understand the English and this know the English language. So using those English like statements, Anyone can write the program if they know the rules and regulations relating to the languages. So what we did is to overcome with all the disadvantages of your low level languages of your machine code and assembly code, directly we started to use the English like statements in your high level language, and the symbols, which all the symbols are required, those all the symbols we started to write. So here in your high level language, we use the English like language, which makes the easier to learn and use, which made the programming concept, software creation concept easy to learn also and easy to use also. The main advantage of your high level language is the high level language are machine independent, means the code which you write in your Dell laptop or Dell computer can be copied and can be used the same code into your HP model computer, can be used the same code into your Lenovo, can be used the same code and executable in other computers like Toshiba and all. Everywhere you can use the code, same code you can copy and use it, and you can execute also. So we call it as machine independent. These are not dependent on your hardwares like your assembly code and your machine code. Your machine code and assembly code are always depend on your hardware, what hardware you are using. It is depend on that. So we call it as machine dependent. Where your high level language is not dependent on your any of the hardware, we can use it freely in any type of the hardwares. Done? So it is machine independent. That point you have to remember. Your high level language is machine independent. Machine independent. So therefore, a program written for one computer can be executed on different computers with no or only slight modification. If it is requires a few modification like in the symbols or in expansion and all, you have to just do it, or else no need to do the modification. Done? That is about your high level languages. Some of the high level languages we have examples I had given in the last class also. Now also I'll give you the examples like C, C++, Java, then we have is Fortran, next we have is Basic, then we have is Pascal. Like this, the many different languages we have, which can be the examples of your COBOL. One more is there, COBOL. These all will act like your high level languages. So you will be learning for PUC first year and second year is your C++ language. C program is a basic language. Advanced a little bit is your C++. To that advanced is your Java. The next Fortran, Basic, Pascal are the previously used old programming languages. Done? So I can give you here the expansion. Note down. Fortran means Fortran, it is not the R here. Fortran means formula translator. Formula translator. It is a language used by your mathematical people to translate your formulas. All type of the formulas, if they want to translate, they use here. Okay, so you can call it as formula translator or formula translation. Translator is a good one. Fine. Next we have is Basic. The expansion of Basic is beginners, all purpose, symbolic instruction code. Remember the expansion of Basic, beginners, all purpose, symbolic instruction code. Okay, so for the first time they are used, it is to learn the basic when all they want to write the code. So we call it as beginners, all purpose. For all purpose you can use it, and instruction codes, it will give you the instructions for the coding. That is your Basic. Done. Next we have is COBOL. The expansion of COBOL is common business oriented language. Common business oriented language, that is the long form of your COBOL. And next comes is your Pascal. We don't have any expansion for Pascal. The Pascal is like Pascal and machine, how we had, no, like that the Pascal name is there. We don't have the expansion. We can just say that all purpose used language, like that also you can just say it. We don't have the expansion for that. Done. Remember these expansion, anytime if you go for any computer exams or any government exams and all, there you may get it, the expansions. Okay, remember, now also you may get it 1 mark question. Photon is a formula translator. Basic is nothing but beginners all purpose symbolic instruction code. COBOL is nothing but common business oriented language, means the business people generally used language it is, and it can be used. Fine. So these all are the examples you can remember for your high level languages. Now if you want to know how we'll write the code in your high level language, so we had seen the code for adding 2 numbers in your machine code also. We had seen the same code in your assembly level language also. Now I will tell you the same code how we can write in your high level language also. Okay, so what we do is, here we say C in A and B, C is equals to A plus B, and we say C out answer C. So these are the 3 lines we write to add 2 numbers. The first line, C in greater than 2 greater than symbol, then A, then again 2 greater than symbol, and then B, and end it with C. So what we are doing, this code we are writing to add 2 numbers. Okay, A and B are the 2 numbers. Which 2 numbers you want to add, that value we don't know. So in A and B we are accepting those values. C in means getting the values. Here what we are doing, we are adding A plus B, and what answer will come, that summation we are storing in C variable. That summation we are storing in C variable. After getting the summation, we are printing that, we are saying answer is equals to what is there in C, that you display. What is there in your C, that you have to display. And to read the value, to accept the value, to accept the input, we use C in statement, and to display the output, we use C out statement. To display the output, we use C out statement. Done. Like this we write. So after this chapter, next one more basic chapter is there, where relating to the programming is there, and then 5th, 6th chapter we'll start reading, learning about the code. So that time we'll get to know what is the use of the C in, what is the meaning of the statement, what is the use of C out, everything we'll get to know. Done. So timing, remember these are the 3 lines how we can write the code in your high level languages. Done. So here your high level language is not equals to your machine code. So what we have to do is, we have to again convert these code into your machine language, because we know that the computer understands only your machine language. So as we use a translator to convert your assembly level language to your machine level language, there we use a translator called as assembler. Similarly, when all you want to convert the code from your high level language to your machine level language, here also we have to use the translators. So the translator here we use is compiler. We use is compiler. So the compiler is a translator which will help you to convert your high level code into your machine code. Done. So how it converts, what all is there, we'll learn in detail relating to the compiler in your translator part. So timing, you remember, when all you want to convert your high level language to your machine level language, we use a translator called as compiler. Done. So these are the features you have to remember relating to your high level language. You may get it a question. Now I'll tell you about your advantages and disadvantages relating to your high level language. Okay. So first we'll see about your advantages. So the first advantage is machine independent. This language is machine independent, so that we can copy the code, and we can execute in any type of the hardware devices. Fine. Second one is, it is easy to learn and understand. Why it is easy to learn and understand? Because the code what we write in your high level language, everything contains with a combination of some symbols and all in your English like statements. Okay, so everyone know English statements. So if you know the rules and regulations of coding, then easily we can understand and we can learn the coding easily. Done. Next, the third advantage is easy to modify and debug the program. Easy to modify and debug the program. So what do you mean by debug? I told you modify means if you want to do any change in your code, that is very easy. In which line, in which point exactly, we can directly reach to that point. It is not like your machine code. From the first bit we have to start reading, start understanding and all. And debugging is nothing but finding your mistakes, what mistakes you did in your code, and we have to rectify, give the solution to those mistakes. So here mistakes in your program are called as errors. Okay, so finding your errors and rectifying those errors, giving the solution to those errors, that process is called as debugging. So here what happens in your high level language is when you execute the program, when you try to get the answer for your program, if there are any errors, then it will give you a message in this line, in this point you did the mistake. Directly you will get to know where you did the mistake. So debugging is very easy. You can reach directly to that point and you can do the changes. But if you compare to your assembly level language and your machine level language, it is very difficult to do the debugging because we don't know where we did the mistake. We know that there are the errors. We'll get to know that there are the errors in the program because we'll not get the correct output. But where exactly we did the errors, that is unknown to us. We have to go on searching from the first bit till the last, one after the other. That was the very big disadvantages what we felt in your machine level language and your assembly language. That is the advantage in your high level languages. With these advantages, we have some disadvantages also because nothing is perfect. Everything has its own disadvantage. Fine. So the first disadvantage is execution process is very slow. Execution process is slow. Here execution is faster in your machine level language, but if you compare the speed of the execution with your high level language, it is very slow because what we have to do is we have to convert each line, each point of your high level language again into your machine level language. So first what we have to do is we have to convert the code, then the answer will be there. So execution is very slow. Next, the second disadvantages of your high level language what we have is the high level language requires compiler to convert your source code to object code. Means the code what we are written in your high level language is called as source code. It has to be converted into your machine language, that is called as your object code, and to convert these we need the compiler. Directly we cannot do it. Done? So that is the disadvantages. Next, the third disadvantage we have is the high level language take more time to execution and require more memory. Time takes more, why I told you, because it need to convert from high level language to your machine level language, and it requires memory because we'll have two types of the code here. One is called as source code and another one is called as object code. Another one is called as object code. The code what you write in your English like statements, what we write in high level language, that is called as source code. The machine won't understand this high level language, so need to be converted again machine level language. Done? So to convert these, what we convert into your machine level language, that is called as your object code. So this is your source code, this is your object code. So where in your machine level language we have only these set of the codes. So only this memory is required. But here in your high level language, some memory is required to store your source code also, and another set of the memory is required to store your object code also. So memory requires more. That is the another disadvantages what we have relating to your high level language. Clear to everyone? This is all about your high level languages. Remember the features, advantages and disadvantages. Fine. If you compare your languages, your machine level language contains all your binary numbers, easy to communicate with your system because system understands directly all the instructions. But when you are doing the programming, it is very difficult because we have to remember everything in the format of 0 and 1. Debugging is very difficult and modifying is also difficult, and one more thing is it is machine dependent. Coming to the assembly, we need the assembler to convert your assembly code to your machine code. In your machine code, everything is in the format of 0 and 1. In your assembly, we use the mnemonics. Here it is easy everything, but the difficulty is the code is also machine dependent, and again translator is required. So what we do is directly we shift to use your another set of the code, that is your high level languages, where we use only English like statements and some symbols, easy to understand, easy to debug, easy to learn, and it is the main advantage is it is machine independent. Difficult, that is disadvantage is it requires more space, less time, more time, that is slower in execution, and compiler is required to convert your source code to object code. What do you mean by source code? What do you mean by object code? I had explained you already. Done. So this is all about your languages, computer languages. So if you have any doubts relating to your computer languages, let me know. I'll rectify all your doubts. So the other things relating to the chapter we'll see in the next class. Thank you.